American kids get too many Christmas presents. It was the case when I was a kid, it remains the case today. So, what am I going to do with my kids? Surrender to the gift-giving mania? Have Christmas but with no gifts? Forgo Christmas altogether? We'll get into those questions, but first, a bit of background about me and Christmas. I'm an American citizen, but I don't live there. For the past 6 years, I've been living in the country known as Vietnam! If you ever visit Vietnam during the month of December, you'll see that Christmas kind of exists, but not really. Shopping malls put up some decorations, banks and hotels might put up some very poorly designed decorations, but on the big day itself, Vietnamese people, with the exception of the Catholic minority, basically go about their business like any other day. And during my time here, I've pretty much followed suit. Even though I like Christmas, I've found it's difficult to really get into a holiday when the society around me isn't into it. December 25th is still a day off for me, but my Christmas celebrations typically amount to nothing more than wearing some comfy clothes and drinking fine whiskey throughout the day, perhaps with some classy Christmas music on. But my Christmas day does not include a tree, or at least until this year it hasn't, nor does it include mistletoe, nor gingerbread men, nor, most importantly, presents. There could be presents. I'm not a lonely hermit. I've got a wife, so we could be giving each other loads of stuff, but we haven't done that, we don't do that, and I really don't want to start. For me, buying any gifts other than flowers or food is always a frustrating experience. If it's clothes, they may not fit. If it's a book, it may be one they've already read, or one they just don't care about. If it's an item for the person's hobby, it may not be the right kind. And if it's jewelry or electronics, those things are just too damn expensive. And I find receiving gifts a bit of a pain as well. I don't like accumulating stuff in general. And for the handful of things I do like, my wishes tend to be pretty specific. For example, you could try to get me something to use in making videos, but unless I tell you exactly what I want or need, there's a good chance you'll get me something I won't or even can't use. And I've always found making a wish list a little bit tacky. Because of the frustration I experience when giving and receiving gifts, I've actually felt fortunate to live for the past 6 years in a relatively Christmas-free country, and to have a wife who didn't grow up with the Christmas gift-giving bonanza. For me now, there is absolutely no pressure to be participating in it. But I have babies now, which, as they say, changes everything. Am I going to deny my kids the joy that I knew every year at Christmas? Shouldn't I let them in on the fun? Well, when it comes to things like putting up a tree, I will. Now that my oldest is big enough to have some kind of awareness of his surroundings, I have more motivation to bring some Christmas cheer into the house. And when my kids get a bit bigger, I think we'll do some more Christmas activities, like making Christmas cookies. It's not something my wife and I would do with just the two of us, but with kids it'll be fun. But then there's the issue of giving presents. Like I said, I find it difficult. I'm under no peer pressure to be doing it, as long as I stay in Vietnam. And I really don't think all that gift giving is healthy for kids. When I was little and still had hair, I would spend December positively buzzing with excitement over all the gifts under the tree. But what was I really so excited about? Stuff. Lots and lots of stuff. I know now that stuff rarely brings any real happiness. The initial excitement it does bring wears off quickly, and in the end, it usually becomes more of a burden than anything else. I was somewhat aware of those facts even when I was little. Tearing open a present was thrilling, but sometimes as early as Christmas afternoon, I would be looking at gifts which I had wanted and thinking, wait, what am I supposed to be doing with this thing again? I think the less my kids center their Christmases and their lives around stuff, the better. But I would still like them to have some excitement on Christmas morning. Is there a way? Well, gifts don't have to be stuff, nor do they have to be for an individual. I think my family and I could have a relatively healthy and stress-free Christmas gift exchange if we were to follow two principles. One, each gift should be something the whole family can enjoy together. This would make it easier to buy gifts in the first place, since you wouldn't be thinking about just one person's interests or wishes. It would be healthier for the kids to only receive gifts which they have to share, and it would also eliminate the anxiety that adults often feel about spending equally on each kid and equally on each other. The second principle for better gift giving would be to focus on services and consumables. This would eliminate the burden of the junk formerly known as stuff sitting in the attic or the basement. And unlike stuff, services and consumables don't carry the illusion of providing pleasure indefinitely. You know from the outset, it ain't gonna last. So some examples of gifts fitting those two criteria would be some exotic chocolate, some of those really nice European meats, some balloons full of laughing gas. Okay, don't do that one. But you know, when the kids are a bit older, maybe some fine wine, some rare coffee, or on the services side of things, tickets to a show, day passes to an arcade or an amusement park, dinner out to a new restaurant, or if you've got money to burn, maybe a night at a 5-star hotel in your hometown. Note that for the second principle, I only said focus on consumables and services. I think some kinds of stuff in limited quantities are pretty okay. A board game, the complete Calvin and Hobbes, a new pet, an exotic plant to keep on the coffee table, not so bad really. But I think that by generally avoiding gifts of stuff and giving gifts that are meant to be shared, it might be possible to make Christmas gift giving something that the whole family looks forward to, but no one loses their mind over. Or maybe not. I don't know. When I sat down to write the script for this video, I was not expecting to reach this conclusion. These ideas just came to me. At first I was thinking maybe have a rule where each person gives each other person only one gift, but then that could also have the problem of Kid A feeling like his gift is not as good as Kid B's. I don't know. Anyway, if you think the ideas I mentioned before have some value to them, maybe you can try them too. And whatever you choose to do, Merry Christmas. Oh, and one thing I'm definitely not gonna do is tell my kids there's a Santa. Why do parents lie to their kids about this? To put some magic in their lives? Kids can invent enough magic on their own. They don't need parental deception to help them. I remember when my mom told me the Easter Bunny wasn't real, it was devastating. I couldn't believe my parents had been deliberately lying to me for so long. It didn't take much time after that for me to deduce that Santa must also be a lie. And I'll tell you, I have now forgiven my parents, but it took a while. And that's why I'm saying, down with Santa, people. He's a lie, he's almost certainly got type 2 diabetes, and the North Pole is nothing but sea ice. I mean, at least at the South Pole you can put up a station and some flags. The North Pole has nothing. Can we at least raise our kids to have some understanding of geography?